GTE is one of the most important documents when you are planning to apply for your studies in Australia. And if you don't get it right, it could even lead toward the refusal of your student visa. So in this video, we are going to give you a guide about GTE. Let's get started. Now the first thing first, what is GTE? GTE stands for Genuine Temporary Entrant. So GTE is a statement or a letter of your genuine intentions to study in Australia, which basically means that you don't have any other motives than studying and getting a quality education in Australia. And it is not intended to maintain your ongoing residency in Australia. And as per Department of Home Affairs website, it is not a measure to discriminate against the students who after completing their studies in Australia, develop their skills and become eligible to apply for permanent residency through their skilled program. So it is certainly not intended to exclude those students. Now this letter must be written by you and you only. It should not be written by any family member or friend or your migration agent. And it should always match your current level of English. Now ideally you should be writing this letter in English, but if you're not comfortable, then you can write it in your native language and then submitted a translated copy of that. Now as per the Department of Home Affairs website, they consider few factors when assessing your GTE requirements. So let's discuss about these main factors. The first one is your circumstances in your home country, which includes information about yourself, your family members, your current ties in your home country, if there is any gap in your study and any reason for that gap, reason for not studying the same course in your home country, and your financial situation in your home country. The second factor is your potential circumstances in Australia, which includes things like if you have any relatives in Australia, your understanding and knowledge about the course that you're planning to study, the fee structure of that course, the possible living arrangements in Australia, and the lifestyle in Australia. Third factor is the value of the course to your future. That includes factors like how relevant the course you're planning to study to your previous study, how the proposed course or study will improve your skills, or how it could improve your future job prospects or your pay scale, and what could be the expected salary in your home country after completing your studies in Australia. Now last but not the least is your immigration history. That includes if you have any previous travel history, any previous visa refusals for Australia or any other country, any previous visa cancellations, your travel history to Australia, and amount of time spent previously in Australia on a student visa. Now these are some of the factors used when assessing your GTE requirements, but it's important to understand that there could be some other factors that could be looked at by the case officer when assessing your GTE requirements. Now the next thing is, how do I write a GTE statement or letter? So now we will discuss about how to write your GTE. Now please understand that GTE is a personal statement and it will certainly vary from one person to the other. And if I am writing a GTE letter for myself, it will only be valid for me and my circumstances. And you should not be using any other person's GTE as a template for yourself. So it is very important that you write your own GTE based on your circumstances. However, you can certainly consider to include the information that we are going to discuss in the next few minutes. And it's very important to understand that there is no specific structure for writing this statement. And you can certainly change these paragraphs as per your wish or as per your requirement or situation. Now the opening paragraph of my GTE statement will include an introduction. The introduction about myself, which includes my name, my current location, information about my family, and my current studies or qualifications. The second paragraph, I will include what course I am planning to study and where I'm going to study, including the name of the university and the city. And I will also give an explanation to how this course relates to my previous study. Now in the third paragraph, I would write down why I am planning to study this specific course, what sort of value this course brings to my career and future. I can certainly give an examples like if I complete this course, it could lead me for a better pay rate or higher position, or it certainly can improve my skills to get a job in my home country. In the next paragraph, I will talk about why I am choosing to study in Australia and not in any other country. So I will give specific examples of the lifestyle in Australia that I like, or what I would like to experience when I'm planning to live in Australia for my studies. And if the same course is available in my home country, I will also give a reason why I'm not doing this course in my home country and why I am doing it in Australia instead. In the next paragraph, I will explain about how I'm going to fund my studies in Australia. So I have to explain where the money is coming from, whether I have got my own savings or if I'm getting some help from my family members like my parents, my sisters, my brother, or if I'm going to get a loan for my studies in Australia. Now in the next paragraph, if I have worked in my home country, I will talk about my work experience over there. That could include information like how long did I work for, what sort of job role I was doing, and if I'm currently working, why I am leaving this job to study in Australia. Now if you haven't worked at all, then you can certainly skip this part or give an explanation about you not working. In the next paragraph, I will talk about my travel history, if I have ever traveled to other countries or to Australia, and if I have traveled to Australia, how long did I stay and what type of visa I was on. And if you haven't traveled overseas at all, you can mention that in your letter as well. And in the last paragraph, I will talk about my plans when returning home after completing my studies in Australia. I can certainly talk about my family ties back home or my business or economic commitments when returning back home. Now, if you want a sample copy of GTE, we will put the link of that in the description below. You can go and download this sample copy for free from the link in the description. Again, be mindful that this is not a template, it is just a sample for you to have a look on how GTE statement or letter looks like. Now ideally, you are not only submitting your GTE statement for your student visa application, it is recommended that you must submit some additional documents to prove that the things that you're claiming in your GTE. So what sort of documents you may need to provide along with your GTE? Some of the documents include your academic transcript that will provide an evidence of your current qualifications, your bank statements to prove that you have enough funds to support yourself, or some other asset documents like your property documents. If you are working, it could be great to have a reference letter from your current employer, a tax return that you lodged last year, or a pay slip. If you have a job offer on your hand, then it could be great to have that as well. And if you are planning to start your own business after completing your study, then a copy of a business plan could be submitted. And there could be more documents depending upon your situation, but the more evidence you provide, the better it is. Now sometimes there is a question like how long the GTE should be. The answer is not very straightforward because it certainly varies based on your personal situation, as you might have to explain more or less as per your circumstances. But as per our research, it could be 1 or 2 page long. Again, there is no set in stone for this, so you have to write according to your situation. And last but not the least, here are a few extra tips. The first thing is write this statement as a story. Because it is your personal story, try to write it as a story so that the other person can understand who you are and what are you trying to achieve. Obviously, the person who's gonna read your GTE don't know you much. So all they're gonna do is read your story and try to see if you are genuine or not. The next tip is keep it simple. It is certainly not your English test. And make sure that you write this statement as per your English ability, because the person who's gonna read this GTE can easily pick up if you have written it by yourself or you got some help from someone else. Don't worry too much about the grammar or the spelling mistakes. Ideally, there shouldn't be any, but don't stress too much about those things. The next tip is keep your paragraphs short and sweet. Now, when writing this statement, don't write it into the big paragraphs. Try to split those paragraphs into smaller ones. Maybe keep a maximum of 3 lines in each paragraph, as no one likes to read a huge amount of text in one paragraph. The next one is Be specific. Now it's a good idea if you can give specific examples than very generic ones. So instead of saying that it will improve my skills, explain what type of skills this course could improve. Give relevant and specific examples. And last but not the least, be honest. Now it's important that you tell your story honestly in this GTE statement, because the case officers can work out in few minutes that whether you're telling them a truth or a lie. After all, that is part of their job role. And that is the whole purpose of having a GTE, to make sure that only genuine students are coming to study in Australia. Well, I hope you find some value in this video where we talked about GTE. And if you do, as always, I will appreciate if you can share it with your other friends as well. And if you do like the video, make sure to hit that like button as well before leaving. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.